James here with another Easy Liner tech tip. Today we're talking about bead loading. Let's take a closer look. A few things to consider before bead loading. First off, if you're loading your beads from the ground, you have to fight gravity on its way in. So loading from a level surface by the deck will actually improve loading speed. Another thing is when your bead tank is empty, you need to have your main valve closed. That way the tank can create a vacuum. Once there are beads in the tank for refilling, you no longer need to close this valve every time. Inserting your bead loading hose into the jet horn, always check to make sure that your gasket is intact inside of the jet horn. Now that our bead loading hose is installed, we're going to go ahead and make sure that our air supply is shut off. This is the air that goes in to pressurize the tank for when we're striping. Next, we can go ahead and open our air supply from our red hose here. This is going to give us high volume airflow down through the exhaust and allow us to open our vacuum loading, which will then pull air out of the tank and create a vacuum for us to suck our beads up. We're going to leave our bead valve closed so that way the tank can create enough vacuum for us to get good suction for our beads to come up the hose. Right now we are creating a vacuum inside of the tank. You can watch this gauge slowly start to drop down. We're looking for at least 15 inches of mercury and vacuum in the tank before we start loading. But if you listen really closely, you can sometimes hear when it reaches maximum vacuum. That's our cue. Now that we've finished loading and our tank is full, I'm going to go ahead and close the bead load valve. I'm going to have my operator hand me my stinger and I'm going to lift it up and then open this one more time to finish clearing all the beads in the hose for minimal mess when I remove the hose. Now that we've finished clearing our hose and closed our bead load valve, we can go ahead and close our vacuum valve and our air supply valve. And we can go over here and we can open our supply valve for pressurizing the tank. That way we're ready for striping. For our final few tips and tricks for bead loading, if your striping unit is equipped with one of these Boss DUS compressors, you can flip this high idle switch up for bead loading. That'll give you increased CFM from your compressor, which will make your loading faster. Another consideration is your stinger placement. When you put the stinger into the beads, 6 to 12 inches below the surface is about perfect, and at an angle will actually give you faster loading times. Thanks for joining us today, and take it easy.